What is going on, internet? I hope you're doing well. If this is your first time at my channel, then you gotta know, when I'm in the kitchen, I am always doing fantastic. Today is no different. Not only am I gonna create a mouth-watering and tantalizing recipe for your face holes, but I'm also going to make something so visually stimulating? You're gonna wanna climb through your screen and take a bite out of this Croque Madame Cake. If you think that's a little bit foreign to you and you don't live in France, it probably is. You see, the Croque Madame is a variation of the Croque Monsieur, which means Sir Crispy. Essentially what I'm making for you today is an elevated grilled cheese breakfast sandwich. Here are the ingredients that I have. I got flour tortillas, sliced smoked deli ham. You can pretty much use any ham you want. You want to use Black Forest? Go ahead and do it. Honey ham? Cool. I'm using smoked because I like that flavor. Then I got some shredded, grated, cut up into little fine bits Parmesan cheese. Same consistency with some gruyere, which is, I guess, a Switzerland version. I always thought it was French, but then I realized it was Swiss. Some nutmeg, because bechamel sauce calls for some nutmeg. Salted butter, flour, Dijon mustard, whole milk. Guys, other than the eggs, that's all you need to create this insane meal today. Okay, the first thing that I need to do is make my bechamel sauce. If you know anything about making sauces, you know that 9 times out of 10, they start the same way. Flour and butter. We're gonna make a roux. All right, so I gotta add 3 tablespoons of salted butter. Once the butter melts, that's when you can add the flour. What does this do? What does a roux do? A roux makes sauces thick. The butter, flour, combined with the milk, creates the base of this sauce, and it'll be thick. That's the whole fun part about this. Very, very important thing. If you guys are recreating this recipe, don't brown the butter. Melt it gradually. Right now, I'm on a 5 out of 7, 5 out of 8. So melt it gradually. Now I'm gonna add some flour. What I'm trying to do here is cook out like that granular kind of fake, no flavor flour taste. And I'm trying to bubble it, and I'm trying to cook it just until it becomes brown. Now's the time where you add the milk. A little bit at a time, because we're trying to temper it. Mix, guys, you gotta mix. Make sure you mix. It's gonna break down the granulization of the flour. Not sure if granulization is even a word? Leave a comment below if you have the definition. Like I said, you wanna gradually add the milk and make sure that it doesn't completely clump up. We're not looking for a solid here, we're looking for a sauce. Now's the time where we add the seasoning. So, like I said, we had this nutmeg right over here. You wanna add 1/8 of a teaspoon, which is really just a pinch. Add some salt and pepper as well, just a little bit. Parmo cheese. Add that to the pot and stir it until you see everything melted. I mean, I don't know about you or if you'll ever remake this, but if you do, don't eat the sauce. I know it's tempting. I know it kind of smells like a really awesome chowder soup, because it does, but don't. Do not do it. Set it aside. Let's build this cake. Grab yourself some sort of circular cake pan. And if you don't have a circular cake pan, I would suggest investing in one of them. They're extremely versatile. You could do a lot with them. In my experience, non-stick rarely means non-sticking. I don't really trust it. So, add some parchment paper to the bottom of your pan. In my case, I will trace it. It's usually the most effective way. Doesn't have to be exact. And you don't really have to use a knife. All you need is to cover most of the bottom of your pan. So, like I said, we're using flour tortillas. I think that's the best, personally. I'm biased towards flour tortillas. I'm not really down with corn tortillas, but that's another debate and perhaps a podcast for another time. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Josh, how do you measure the tortillas to make sure that everything is equal? Well, Like most things in the food world, no two of them are exactly the same. I'm just gonna use basic geometry. If I meet everything in the middle, essentially everything on the outside will be equal, right? Okay, now essentially what you wanna do before adding the last one, you want to press the edges so that there's no air pockets. And while holding down with one hand, take that last fifth tortilla, which should fit exactly into this circular cake pan, and then press it with your fingers, like so. The overlappage is all good, guys. This is the base to our cake. Let the layering begin. Now keep in mind, we're probably gonna get like 3, maybe 4 layers of everything, so have your extra tortillas handy for when you need to put them on top of the layer. You wanna add enough bechamel sauce to the base of this to cover the entire thing. Don't go overboard. And by the way, you wanna keep pressing it down so that there's as little air as possible. Add enough slices of ham to cover the entire surface area. Okay, ham is down. Add some gruyere on top of that. Here is the beginning of the second layer, which I'm essentially gonna put on top of the gruyere. But what we wanna do is add a thin layer of Dijon mustard atop this, which they're gonna put on top of this. All right, so I got some Dijon here. I'm gonna spoon it. And by the way, you don't have Dijon mustard, use regular mustard. You don't got regular mustard and you got some sort of fancy, I don't know, like coarsely seeded mustard seed situation. Guys, this is cooking. If I say mustard, use any mustard you want. Take your lightly mustard blank canvas of tortilla over here and add it atop the first layer. Okay, now that we have a blank slate and it's essentially restarted to the beginning, do it again. Bechamel, ham, gruyere, mustard, tortilla, and then repeat again. You know what's funny is that when I was younger, I used to be told, don't play with your food. Don't watch TV. I mean, if I didn't do any of that, I wouldn't be here right now teaching you how to make a glorious creation in the kitchen. So, shout out to TV and playing with your food. What you want to do now is do your best job. Make your best attempt at flipping over the excess tortilla. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and get ready to throw this sunbow in there. Grab something heavy. In this case, I have the identical baking dish. Throw it on top, put it in the oven for, I don't know, I want to say 9 minutes, but I'm going to say 11 instead. Feeling a little dangerous. All right, this thing looks good. It's hot. I think everything is melted. I hope everything is melted. And now's the finishing touches. Take the remainder of bechamel sauce. Really get in there. You don't want to waste any of this deliciousness. Now, one more thing. I know I keep saying one more thing, but this is actually there's 2 more things. The leftover Gruyere cheese. That infamous Gruyere cheese. I made sure to put my oven at broil, which is where the heat comes from the top. And now you want to put this in for like 5 to 7 minutes, not that long, always keeping an eye on it until the top is golden brown and bubbling. While that's in the oven, perfect opportunity to fry some eggs. By the way, you don't want to eat this with eggs and you want to just make it a monsieur, then eat it as is. That's cool. You know this pan is too hot, by the way, if the egg starts spitting at you. The egg tells all. Once the edges start becoming white, you know that the inside's gonna start cooking, and I'm not talking about the yolk, I'm talking about the white surrounding the yolk. Oh, the egg is done. Slide it off, take that tart cake pie lasagna out of the oven. Let's cut it up and plate this bad boy, because I just want to eat it, okay? I just want to eat this and go to the gym, come back and eat more of it. Okay, what did I just do? You know, there is not much more to do here other than cut it and try it. One last thing for this thing to make it complete, and that's adding a fried egg on top. Oh, hell yeah. Croque Madame Tart Pie Cake Lasagna. Tentative title. This thing looks insane. Every layer is intact, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. You got the tortillas, then the ham, and the Gruyere with the bechamel. You know, I can't wait any longer. I have to try it. There is a lot going on here. I was worried about whether or not the tortilla would stay crispy. And it did on the top, and it did on the bottom, and the layers in between are almost like pancakes mixed with the bechamel, and it's mixed with the gruyere, and I guess it's mixed also with the liquid of the ham. It's created this like soft, almost elegant like texture. This might be one of the most decadent things I've ever made. I gotta go in for another one, hold up. Like I said, if you guys don't like eggs, number one, you're insane, but you could just eat this as a monsieur, no egg, right? You know, you go into it thinking it's gonna be really fat, really overpowering and kind of one-noted, but this is complex, and dare I say, I owe it all to the mustard. Recipe in the description below. Leave a comment letting me know who you want to see me cook with and what you want to see me cook next, guys. I love you. If you're not already subscribed, hit that bell, that notification. It'll let you know when I come up with more deliciousness.